home crowd was loud and ready to help their team pull through without Trae Young against the Bucks. Young with a deep bone bruise in his right foot. So Williams got the party started early. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to drive, stripped by Bogdanovic. Hawks going the other way as play continues, and Williams going to pull up deep and knock down the three. He had 7 in the first quarter. Hawks up 10. Williams 2 for 3 from 3. Bucks struggling on the offensive end. Chris Middleton turns it over. Cam Reddish also contributing for Atlanta. He had 12 in 23 minutes. The Hawks up 41-30. Later with the Bucks down 9, Chris Middleton. Three-pointer goes clank, clank. Everybody fighting for the rebound. Williams comes up with the loose ball, goes the other way, puts a lemon pepper on Antetokounmpo. Williams with 21 points, a career postseason high. Hawks up 51-38 at the half. The Bucks 38 points in the first half, the fewest points in a half this postseason. So no Trae Young. They focused on defense and took control of the game. Third quarter. Antetokounmpo getting there. He had 6 points in the first half. He had 8 points in the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds of the third quarter as Milwaukee tried to make a run. Wound up with 14 for the game and 8 rebounds. But here's when he left. Antetokounmpo jumps up to contest the lob to Clint Capella, lands, and immediately goes down. Holding his left knee. That's his brother Thanasis looking concerned. The Bucks say it's a hyperextended left knee. He's scheduled for an exam on Wednesday. Fingers and toes and everything crossed in Milwaukee to hope he's okay and can return in this series. Hawks still in control, up 17. Bogdanovic. He had 6 threes. He had 20 points. Hawks with a 20-point lead. Fourth quarter, Hawks up 18. Capella on the baseline. He's in no man's land, but he's got a shot for that from behind the backboard. And it goes into Kemba Matone's like, not even I could block that one.
Oh, I think you could.
Capella, 6 for 7 for his 15 points. And take a look at Young on the sideline. Under 5 to go. Hawks up 21. Kevin Huerter, he had 15. And the Hawks had 6 players in double figures. They take game 4 to tie the series with injury as a major storyline once again.
He's in the locker room with the guys and just address the group and, but nothing, above and beyond or, we'll see how he is tomorrow. Our group, the character of it will come through. And we're going home. It's 2-2. We're going back to Milwaukee.
And we'll see what happens with Giannis. It'd be great if he plays, but if he's not, we still have a capable team. We're going out there and winning. I talked to him briefly. Positive to say, we dropped this one, gotta go get the next one.
It's not good. Anytime you see your best player go down, it's not great, but it's an opportunity for somebody else and everybody else to step up. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. There's no excuses. It doesn't matter. Whoever's playing, who's not playing, they got guys out. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's banged up. Everybody has injuries. You got to fight through it and win.
Not really sure about the jacket there, but the Bucks trailed by 10 when Antetokounmpo left the game, and things then went from bad to worse. Shortly after he was injured, the Hawks ripped off a 15-0 run, wound up leading by 25 points at the end of the quarter, adding insult to injury. Let's welcome in Stephen A. Smith now for more. Steve, the Hawks were already in control of the game before Giannis Antetokounmpo left. So what was your overall impression of what you saw Tuesday night in Atlanta?
Well, I thought the Atlanta Hawks deserved a lot of props to not have Trae Young and to come out there with Bogdanovic suffering from his own knee injury, but then going out there and performing the way that he did, looking for his shot and hit some early threes to set the tone. I think that sent the message. I think you look at Lou Williams, 6th Man of the Year award winner in the past. This guy is lethal, and he showed up. And even though the Milwaukee Bucks were en route to coming back, you can't take away from the fact that Atlanta built that lead, and Giannis getting hurt obviously puts them in a precarious position as well. But as far as I'm concerned, if you got a guy like Chris Middleton and a guy like Jrue Holiday, if Giannis has to be out, maybe not for the rest of this series, but they should definitely be able to get you one game without him. And if they can't do that, maybe they're not what we thought they were.
All right, so does this series just come down to now, tied at 2-2, potentially 2 games left in Milwaukee, 1 in Atlanta. Does this come down to which star can get healthy enough to become effective?
You can say that because you can see it going 7 games, obviously. But again, I'm going to go to Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. I call Chris Middleton my Mr. Roller Coaster. He'll drop 39 one game, 13 the next, and come back and drop 38 the game after that. You just never know what you're going to get from him on a night in, night out basis. And in the case of Drew Holiday, 1 minute he's playing elite defense, another minute he's focused on stroking the ball from long range. You don't know what you're going to get from him. But when we looked at the Milwaukee Bucks and we considered them a title contender, once they acquired Drew Holiday, we said this should be enough. Maybe the Brooklyn Nets would stop them if they were completely healthy. And I believe if Kyrie hadn't gotten hurt, they would have beaten the Milwaukee Bucks. But nevertheless, the Bucks should be good enough to beat the Atlanta Hawks.
This game continued the theme of the postseason this year, which has been injuries. We saw Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, now Antetokounmpo, Trae Young, Kawhi Leonard. It's become really a battle of attrition. How do you think that will affect the perception of the champion that eventually survives all of this?
Well, it's going to delegitimize it to some degree. If you're Giannis Antetokounmpo and you have to go against an Atlanta Hawks team without Trae Young, or if it's vice versa, Trae Young having to go against Giannis Antetokounmpo, or having to go against the Bucks without Giannis, you're going to sit up there and have an asterisk there. If the Clippers manage to lose in the playoffs, you're going to point to the fact that Kawhi Leonard didn't play in this series unless he comes back. The reality is that there's going to be a bunch of questions about guys, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to hear any excuses about the fact that the season started in December, just a couple of months after it ended in October with the Lakers winning in the bubble. That was the reason for all of these injuries. LeBron James uttered that nonsense weeks ago, and nobody should buy it. If he were talking about himself, then we should, because LeBron James in his illustrious career usually plays deep into the playoffs. But most dudes don't have that luxury. If your name ain't LeBron, if your name ain't Steph Curry, you ain't in the finals all the damn time, okay? So because of that reality, we have to look at everybody else. It depends on the situation, but we shouldn't be listening to any excuses about bubble play and then ultimately the season starting in December. What do you want, the whole damn year off? Give me a break. I don't want to hear those excuses. It is what it is. All right, we just have to hope for health the rest of the way because it makes the games better, and that makes the playoffs as a whole better. That's right. All right, Steve, we appreciate it.
Bigger Than Golf is presented by Rocket Mortgage.
The Trailblazers' announcement on Sunday that they were hiring former NBA champ Chauncey Billups as their next head coach was met with some backlash from the Portland community over rape allegations levied at Billups back in 1997. Now, at the time, the unidentified woman accused Billups and a teammate of sexual assault when he was a rookie with the Celtics. Billups was never charged and settled the case out of court. But today, Billups and the Blazers organization addressed that incident at his introductory press conference.
We not only conducted our traditional background check after offering him the position, we also commissioned an independent investigation into the incident in question in 1997. The findings of that incident corroborated Chauncey's recollection of the events that nothing non-consensual happened.
First, want to talk about a little bit what Neil talked about, and that's the incident that happened in 1997. You know, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about how every decision that we make could have a profound impact on a person's life. I learned at a very young age as a player, and not only a player, but a young man, a young adult, that every decision has consequences, and that's led to some really, really healthy but tough conversations that I've had to have with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time in 1997, and my daughters about what actually happened and about what they may have to read about me in the news and in the media. But this experience has shaped my life in so many different ways. My decision making, obviously.
This is the first head coaching job for the five-time All-Star who has been an assistant on Ty Lue's Clipper staff this season. Becky Hammond and Mike D'Antoni were candidates for the job, but it's the 44-year-old Billups who will get his chance to coach this Blazers roster, which currently features Damian Lillard. Here is Chauncey in the relationship.
I have a really good relationship with Dame, and it has nothing to do with this opportunity. My relationship goes some years back with him. I've always just been a big fan of his. We've developed a really good friendship over the years. Nothing changes now. Nothing changes now. Obviously, me having to coach him, we'll get to know each other a lot more. Me having to hold him accountable to being the great player that he is.
NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski has been covering the Blazers' hire of Chauncey Billups as their next head coach. He joins us now. Woj, we finally heard from Billups, and the president of basketball operations for the Blazers, Neil O'Shea, publicly addressed the allegations from 1997. So with that in mind, how have the Blazers handled this process overall?
Well, Kevin, they spent a considerable amount of time looking into those allegations and that incident from 1997. They had an independent investigator on it. And what they found, in their words, was that that their findings corroborated what Chauncey Billups told them, which was that there was consensual sex, that they did not find anything that disqualified him from becoming the head coach of the Blazers.
Okay, let's go on the court. What will this hire mean in making sure Damian Lillard wants to remain in Portland long term?
Well, Kevin, Damian Lillard has been pretty consistent through the years that he wants to be a Blazer for life. He has not indicated to the organization in any way, that he wants a trade. He publicly endorsed Chauncey Billups along with Jason Kidd at the start of this process. And so the Blazers are proceeding right now that they've got to get the team better. They've got to get it better defensively. And as Neil O'Shea said today, ultimately, for Damian Lillard to be happy, he wants to have a championship-level team, and that's what they're trying to do, and that they hope in Portland that the first step to that was the introduction today of Chauncey Billups as their head coach.
Okay, we still have a few head coach openings around the league, so which could be the next one to watch for?
Well, I was told today that Jacques Vaughn, the Brooklyn Nets assistant, withdrew his name from consideration from openings. He had been a candidate in New Orleans and Washington. And I think right now, New Orleans is getting down the line. Washington, Orlando, continue to interview candidates. The New Orleans Pelicans interviewed Charles Lee in the last couple of days. He's an assistant with the Milwaukee Bucks. But I think those three jobs are still going to take a little more time, but we're starting to whittle down the list of teams with available openings.
Okay, and you will have that breaking news when it does happen as we get ready for a very interesting summer. Adrian Wojnarowski covering